night in the top 5, both ended with that wreck right there.
Max Reeves suffered a ton of damage as well, but up front, there was nobody left that could challenge Caden Quapple, and I'm sure his big brother will look to make it 2 for 2 tonight at Ace Speedway. Are we in break now, or? So cars are gridded up. It'll take a little while for these cars to get out. As you can see, Spencer Davis pulling down in the pits, but more coverage of the ZMAX Cars Tour presented by Sound Clear live next on FloRacing. Back with you here at Ace Speedway live on FloRacing for the accelerated GFX.com 125. And the Z-Max Cars Tour late model stocks about to come up. The cars are ready. They are on the front straightaway. And, Alan, we are just about ready to turn them loose.
One race down, one race to go. It's going to be a big night here at Ace Speedway.
And, in fact, we are ready to turn them loose. Let's throw down trackside for the most famous words in motorsports.
And here's Chris Rice to give us those words. Drivers, start your engines!
I feel like I should have left famous words in motorsports to him, but... So many great storylines to talk about at the front of the field as these engines roar to life at the famous 4/10 mile, and it starts, I think, right with your front row. Ryan Millington, somebody that has called this place home for so long. So many drivers seek his counsel when learning how to race at this racetrack, and Brendan Queen, dominant last fall, didn't get the win, but is looking to turn the tide here in 2024.
We've got the hometown driver versus one of the most popular as they get going, Chad McCumbee, Jacob Hefner with a great qualifying effort in row 2, and as they keep going on.
Again, McCumbee has been so strong all season long. Cade Brown, the number 23, and Brent Cruz will make up row 3. One driver looking to turn the tide, and another one looking to carry his momentum from his win at Orange County.
Bobby McCarty, a lot of speed last time we were on track, starts next to Carson Quapple, who's won both of the races here last year, one row behind them. The 2-car of Brandon Pierce and Andrew Grady in the 1.
Again, best start of the year by far for that number 2 of Brandon Pierce. Mason Diaz, great to see him back out on the racetrack. Same thing with Ronnie Bassett Jr. Not too far from here. This could be considered a home track, as well as also Dylan Harville climbed out of victory lane, won his first late model stock race here 2 weeks ago today. He decided, I want to run with the Cars Tour, and he is here tonight, started mid-pack.
Right behind them, the 22 of Connor Hall starts next to the 81 of Minnie Tyrell. Buddy Isles Jr. starts next to Dylan Ward.
Again, this back in row 9, as you'll see the rest of the field scroll at the bottom hand portion of your screen. A lot of drivers looking to try and work their way up through the field. It is easier said than done at Ace Speedway, as we saw earlier in the Pro Late Model portion of our program. 25 cars strong that are going to be contesting tonight. It would have been 26 that we would have capped the field at. With some of the limitations here at this racetrack, 26 would have been a full field with 2 provisionals, but a lot going on. Again, this is the build-up to North Wilkesboro Speedway, is this race tonight at Ace Speedway. So these drivers, they want to figure everything out. They're going to be carrying a ton of speed tonight. They're going to be carrying a ton of speed in about a week and a half, and the field will double up, and what a great sight it is. But, again, one thing I love, and I'm sure you two will love about the Z-Max Cars Tour, you never know who's going to go to victory lane until it's all said and done.
That's what's so much fun about this series, about all the talent in the front row. And you referred to us, Chris Rice, you're back here after giving the most famous words in auto race. A man of many talents, a little winded maybe running back up here. But as Blake was saying, you never know who's going to win these races. So much talent in the field.
So much talent, and so awesome. These late model stock cars is where I have my grassroots. Pretty excited to watch us as the pace cars get ready to dip off. This is exciting, and here we go. I love it.
The HendrickCars.com pace car will dip down. Sit back and enjoy this one from Altamaha as Ryan Millington turns us loose, and the accelerated GFX.com 125 is underway.
I just love watching these cars 2x2, late model stock cars. Butterbean Queen. I love saying that name. Yeah, that was exciting early. Using up the right front fender. Chad McCumbee, baby.
Again, trying to get down to the bottom immediately was that of Queen. He's able to do it off of turn 4. Millington showing the way and leading his first laps in late model stock car competition in the Cars Tour since North Wilkesboro a year ago. One car out of shape, that's Dylan Harville, who's up at the top of the racetrack. We just mentioned he may have a problem as there are sparks flying from underneath that 33 car.
I would say he's probably a little bit too low on air pressure right now, or he has a left front tire flat. It looks like his left front tire might be flat.
Yeah,
yes, looks like a left front tire is down on that car. It is, yeah, dragging pretty bad.
Yeah, starting to lose a lot of air pressure. And again, that's the challenge for a lot of these local competitors that come into the Cards Tour. Entirely different tire compound, but you can see that is only getting worse. And Dylan Harville, the hometown hero, so unfortunate for him as he will stay out onto the racetrack for now, but has found himself at the tail end of the field. Again, he is pitted all the way down towards the entry of turn 1, so it'll take a while for that car to get to the service of his crew on pit road. Back up front, 5 laps into this race, Millington, Queen, and McCumbee establishing themselves. Now, if the caution flag comes out, and indeed it will, the Shitty Coolers caution will be displayed. It has been somewhat of the precedent that if a flat tire brings out a caution here in the ZMAX Cars Tour, Harville will be assessed a 2-lap penalty and will not be eligible on the first Shitty Coolers caution flag for the Lucky Dog.
But still, that's fine because he probably would have lost 5 laps, 6 laps. Yeah. So, I mean, and plus, you know, he just won here, like you said, and he said he's going to come back for the Cars Tours race. And all the excitement you have in winning, and then this, lap 1, he probably was on our outside, got ran into, and the exhaust knocked the left front tire down.
Spoken like a crew chief. Stay out on the track. Don't
Stay
come
out.
in. Clearly there's an issue.
Out.
You got to come in.
Your tire's not flat. I promise it is not flat. They probably don't have a low-profile jack, so they don't have to take a bunch of guys and girls to pick this car up to change the tire. It's a wide 5, so it will not be that fast. So we'll see how long it takes. You know, we watch a lot of dirt racing on Flo, and they have the where they pit and they give them a chance to change their right rear tire. They have a lot of flat tires. You know, Kyle Larson, those guys, a lot of right rear flats. So we'll see how long this takes.
Now, again, there are no tire changes here in the ZMAX Cars Tour unless someone has a flat, and you can see
they
one
were
of those.
Prepared. They're jacking up the back so they can get the jack in on the left side.
Yep, ST2 is about to go on, and again, all tire changes. You can move around the tires on these race cars, but you can't change them unless it's approved, so you'll see the Cards Tour officials that will come down in just a moment. In fact, it's the left front that they're going to be changing on that number 33, that they're going to change the tire as long as it's approved. And, yeah, you could see the damage that was cutting in on that tire. Great to point that out. Greg's there with more.
When it rolled in, it was definitely riding the rim. It's destroyed, so that left front gets replaced. And there is a cutout just underneath like on the driver's side where the jack can get underneath just in case it's laying on the ground. They were able to get the rear up just a little bit, get into the cutout, and get the middle part of the car jacked up. They're ready to roll. They're going to make another slight adjustment, I think, to the car, and they're going to be out.
And again, we'll have to assess that penalty, but if you are going to encounter an issue at this point of the race, no better time to have it, I think, than in the first 5 laps. You got a lot of time to recover.
Yes, absolutely, but it's late model stock car racing, and as you can see, it is bent up, so somebody must have hit him, but it's late model stock car racing. This is a stacked field. It's going to be super hard to get back through there. It's a one-lane racetrack. It's going to be tough.
The field on 1 to go as they double back up. We have Millington in front, led the first few laps here. Brendan Queen on the front row was able to get down. It was a battle to get single file and to get down into that lower groove at first. We saw a little contact, but the top 4 remain as we go, head back to green as the pace car pulls off here at Ace Speedway.
And again, the Death Wish Coffee restart zone is a little bit later than the painting that you see on the wall. That is the restart zone for local competition at this racetrack. We will fire them back up. We are back under green, and Millington has his hands full with Butterbean on the outside, is trying to pitch him down, but a little bit of respect here given from Butterbean. Millington able to escape. He'll come across and lead that lap, and just as he was able to earlier, Queen able to get down for second. McCumbee trying to clear Hefner for third, and he's able to do it.
Big moves by Hefner, trying to get down to that bottom lane. Risky, but big moves. But it pays off when you're able to get single file and not stuck on the outside. The first 3-5 cars, all single file now out front.
This is one of the racetracks that Butterbean Queen's car owner, Lee Pulliam, was very good at. This is a racetrack that he was so good at when he drove. So I look for a bunch of big things out of that. I know they hadn't had a lot of momentum in this year in the Cars Tour, but, man, I look for their cars to be good. And just not far back there, I'm telling you, that 6 car, Bobby McCarty, he's going to be the guy to watch at the end of 125 laps. He's always good. The RNS race car is always good at this place.
He is so many laps. Of the best at Ace Speedway, has gone to victory lane here multiple times with Nelson Motorsports, was strong here a year ago, ran into some transmission issues, As you can see, McCarty just up there. He's running in the 6th position, has made up a couple of spots, or up from his 7th place starting spot to kind of find his way in line. But up in the top 5, you have 2 drivers that are just up the road from McCarty. You can see him at the edge there, Cade Brown, Jacob Hefner, neither of which have gone to victory lane. Now, Cade Brown, a rookie coming into this season, or relatively little experience. This is just his 11th Cars Tour late model stock start, and has been really strong at a lot of tracks that he's competed at over the years. But approaching a lot of these racetracks where he hasn't necessarily been, it's a really promising effort for him, as well as Jacob Hefner, who is notorious for being somebody kind of like what we saw with Spencer Davis, who may not necessarily have the qualifying speed, but he knows how to be there at the end, and right now running in the 4th position. A great effort for that driver who transitioned over from Carroll Speed Shop to AK Performance a couple of races ago.
AK Performance, they win a lot of races in Florence, and it's fun to watch these guys in the Cars Tour, but man, the 3 cars up front, they're setting a pace that's pretty fast. I know that they know what they're doing, but man, that's pretty fast. And we talked about that in a pro race. Are they saving tires? I do not believe they're saving tires. But man, we got a race with Bobby McCarty. There he is, right in the middle.
He is hunting down that 23 of Cade Brown. We got the dual
already
screen
glowing
here.
the left front. They're already glowing the brakes. This is early.
McCarty trying to get by the 23. Carson Quapple trying to top both of them, almost holding them back a little bit. Carson Quapple's going to have something to say about that battle right here as he makes a dive under McCarty. You can see the brakes glowing, a little contact, a little smoke. Not able to make the pass.
Well, he knows. So here's the deal. He knows if he lets Quapple go, that is a car that he's going to have to race for the win. They win at a lot of places. Junior Motorsports knows what they're doing in Xfinity. And, Bobby McCarty put the bumper to him. I love it. Cade Brown is not going to take that. I've watched that kid race, and he will not take that. Some tempers will be flaring.
One of those situations, clearly Bobby McCarty in the 6, faster than the car in front of him, but it's a different thing to make the pass. There's contact. There's again into turn 3.
But again, making contact, but just enough to get him out of the way, and that's exactly how you have to try to make these passes at Ace. If you can't build up that momentum off the corner, Brown is going to make it tight as, boy, he is nearly into the outside wall off of 2. You can also see the brake rotors on the 23 starting to glow on that right front.
And you're watching Quapple, his engine, as he goes back to the gas, is starting to smoke a little bit. I don't know if that's planned by that group, but Bobby McCarty has made the pass, and we're going to see what Cade Brown does. Oh, he lets Quapple go. This is exciting. Quapple is already starting to glow both right sides of his, the front and the rear brakes.
And Brown wasn't content to just let Quapple go on by. He let him by to get in front of Brent Cruz, but he still wants to fight for a spot just outside of the top 5, but Quapple just a little bit too strong. And Quapple has been able to make really either end of this racetrack work. We've talked about a groove and a half is kind of what you can play with down in turns 3 and 4. Quapple made the winning move, the winning pass this past fall in the 2nd lane on the outside.
So you can do that as you hold them down off the corner, right?
Yes.
And as you can see, that you hold them down off the corner. The front 3 are just cruising right now. They're cruising along. These guys in the back, they've been racing really, really hard, so they're just cruising along. Chad McCumbie's been around a long time in that 16 car. I remember that guy running in the Busch Grand National back in the day, so he's been around a long time. He's pretty smart. Butterbean Queens won a lot of races, so this is exciting to watch.
And McCumbie has experience in all 3 of NASCAR's National Series as, trouble, turn 1, that is Andrew Grady. Engine issues, it would appear, for the number 1 out of Youngsville, North Carolina. And Andrew Grady, what a turnaround that team has had in recent weeks. At New River All-American, tied his best effort with a 9th place finish. Finished up in 12th after a recovery effort at Orange County Speedway. Just looking to shake the black cloud as the Shitty Coolers caution will come out, and unfortunately for Grady, might be an early end of the night for him.
That family has been in a late model stock car racing for a long time. His dad drove. Now he's driving, so they've been in racing a long time back at the old Kinley racetrack. They ran a lot and won a lot of championships. So that group has put a lot of time and effort into it.
Was running towards the top 5 at Kinley earlier when he had problems with Trayton Lapsevich, as you can see. Going down the front straightaway.
Big explosion. And, they don't have a lot of problems out of these engines. They're either running the Chevy Crate or Enforcer, the Harrington Enforcer. So a lot of people pitting here that cars must not be handling great. This is a Kevin Harvick Incorporated car, the number 62. So they must not be handling great. We'll see what they're doing here.
Yeah, Landon Lewis in the pits. They have the jack back there.
Oh, moving the track bar.
Making an adjustment.
Moving the track bar. So they don't have, like in our end, not on the Cup side, but in Xfinity, you put a wrench in the back window and you move the track bar up and down. Years ago, they used to have a button in the car for Cup and they could move it up and down. It was electric. But now they have 2 wrenches. They're probably 1/8 wrenches that they're moving them up and down. And I would bet they're probably going up. This is Dean Ward's kid, I believe. Is that right?
Yep, Dylan Ward.
He's really good here. He was fastest in one of the first practices on Friday I seen. So Dylan Ward, and as you can tell, I know these guys very well.
Yeah.
Landon Huffman's
in
a High Rock vodka car. So yeah, this is exciting to watch these guys work on their race cars to make them better. And I'm telling you, I've raced here a lot with R.D. Smith, and R.D. Smith won a lot of races here. You normally don't make them better in the race because you're going to get back in this traffic. You normally are just stuck. So you might as well take your medicine, try to take the better lane, and try to let the attrition happen and just take what it gives you, because I'm telling you, R.D. Smith taught me that. We won a lot of races here.
And Landon Huffman started shotgun on the field. Make sure to let everyone know it on Twitter as well. Not the best year for the driver of the High Rock vodka car.
We were talking about Twitter earlier. I love Twitter, and I seen somebody wanted me to call a caution. I am not calling a caution. My man can call a caution a lot better than I can, so don't even ask me.
It's a sponsor. It's
I'm
okay.
from South Boston, Virginia. So I can't say.
It's everyone's favorite cooler.
Yeah.
I don't know if I sound like Jeff Burton or Ward Burton, but I'm from South Boston, Virginia. That Chrome number is a good-looking number.
Which end of the house did you grow up on?
I grew up in Cluster Springs, Virginia. My mom, Kathy Rice, ran South Boston Speedway for a long time, and so we grew up about 6 miles south of South Boston Speedway. So, yeah, I grew up on, I guess, the south side of the tracks. They grew up on the north side of the tracks, Jeff and Ward Burton. So, yeah.
Well, we can see the results of the choose, and somebody that you were talking about a little bit earlier, Bobby McCarty, was running in 6th. He is elected to go to the outside lane. He brought Carson Quapple along with him, so they'll restart 4th and 6th respectively. Hearing that it was shock adjustments down there for the number 7 of courtesy of our good friend down there in George White. Shock adjustments for the number 7, which, by the way, you mentioned Dean Ward. He was out here running in weekly competition a week ago.
Dean Ward has got to be as old as me, and I'm old as dirt. So, he has got to be as old as me. He's been racing for a long time. He drove for the late Goo Fallen back in the day, so Goo was in the sport for a long time. So, but somebody just passed us a message. They didn't tweet it to us. They didn't text it to us. It was on a piece of yellow paper. There was rain in the area, and I threw it behind me. I was
wow.
Like, Darryl Waltrip told me that if we get these cars going, that the vortex will keep the rain away.
Not scientific, but it works.
Well, Darryl Waltrip said it. He was my hero. Why is it not scientific?
And again, we're going to stay optimistic here, but should something that I'm not going to mention play a factor in this race, it would be the halfway point that would call this race official if it were to get to that. Lights are off on the HendrickCars.com pace car as Ryan Millington will once again bring the field into the Death Wish Coffee restart zone. We'll fire him off with still 102 laps to go early on in this one. But again, Butterbean hanging tough on the outside, but he'll try to get down in front of McCumbee.
Dylan Bassett, that was big. That was a big, big saving moment.
Big check up there. Heavy damage for Connor Hall, your championship points leader, and running with a team that I'm certain we would see move up through the field in Nelson Motorsports. They ran strong with Landon Huffman. Bobby McCarty, hasn't really mattered who they put in this race car. Something that he's going to be able to keep on running with. As you can see, Chad McCumbee right now, that blue number 16, gets to the inside of Butterbean, and now he's fighting for second, and he has the second spot.
You missed all of that, but Butterbean tried to get in front of Chad McCumbee, and I bet he put the chrome horn, the bumper to him, and moved him back up the racetrack. So, yeah, Connor Hall, this is not one of the racetracks that he really likes.
Bryce Applegate had some issues at Orange County a couple of weeks ago, and that car is also down into the pit area again.
And I bet that people back home have listened to us talk about the rain in the area, and they've texted Marcus Richmond, those guys, and telling them, hey, rain's in the area. It's in Burlington, North Carolina, which is about 3 to 4 miles away, and we got to go because halfway will be the checkered flag if it does start raining, and we don't want to see that, but it's time to go because they're putting on a great show throughout the entire field.
Initially, it was Butterbean making the challenge on Ryan Millington. Now, for the first time, it's Chad McCumbee. We'll see what he can do in the second-place position as Queen falls back to third. Bobby McCarty up to 4, bringing Carson Kvapil with him now into the top 5. Those are the best those cars have run throughout the night.
Connor Hall sideways through 3 wide. He has to check up. He avoids contact with Brandon Pierce, as that was almost a terrible situation. As you can see, the damage there, the bodywork, getting a good look at the Napa logo on the hood, but not the way you want it there for Connor Hall.
I seen Barry Nelson down there just closing his eyes when that was sideways. Connor Hall was sideways. That's our national champion. Guys, that's one of the best ones that was out here last year in the local series, and Connor Hall is really, really good in the red and white number 22. Beautiful race car. Has always been a beautiful race car.
Nearly won the championship 2 years ago, but again, a smart move on his part as he was going to get squeezed 3 wide. He recognized it, lifted out of the gas. And more trouble. Dylan Harville once again, sparks flying underneath that race car, and that will bring out the shitty cooler's caution for the second time.
I'm not calling the caution. But that's sad. He had a left front flat. Now he has a right front flat. This guy, oh, no, he hit the wall. See his wheel. So that's a tie rod end. So the tie rod end that connects to the spindle is probably broke. So he probably come off of turn 4, got in the fence here, broke the tie rod end, and his night will be over, I will guarantee you.
And that is, again, so tough for Dylan. Was standing there with his family and his young daughter he was holding in his arms in Victory Lane here a couple of weeks ago. Long-time champion, in fact, multiple-time champion here in limited late model competition and the late model stocks. This was his second year competing here weekly at Ace Speedway, and he beat Dustin Rumley. And if you're going to show up in a late model stock at Ace Speedway weekly competition, Dustin Rumley, you're going to have your hands full with him. And he was so proud with his team to be able to outrun those guys. And Blake Stallings of RNS Race Cars will get one more shot of it here on the front straightaway. And already didn't see any contact there, but
something's majorly happening already.
Boy, what a great shot that is.
Maybe they left the bolt loose. We've done that before, but Alan, the 33 car, what he was talking about in limited late model, he was super fast here. When you showed up at Ace Speedway, he was always the guy to beat. Brent Cruz is in the pits now. That's another Kevin Harvick Incorporated entry.
The right side of that car as they drove by, it's all caved in, so something, either contact obviously with the wall or another car, will get a good shot of it here. But the right side of the car, our last winner here in the car store, see something big happen to that 29.
Yeah, I can see Kevin right now. I work for Kevin Harvick, so I know how passionate he is about this, and I talk to him each and every weekend. And actually, we text back and forth when he's in the booth, so if he's in Kansas already and watching this, he's just having a rough night. KHI's having a rough night. They've both been in the pits, and he knows that when you're in the pits, your car's not good, and you're not going to be able to compete with the front guys.
62 of Landon Lewis pitting for a second time, making another adjustment after pitting the first time.
Deke McCaskill,
one
of the best names that's ever been in racing here, had a massive wreck in a test at Hickory. This is the car that he wrecked. The throttle hung, and I talked to Marcus Richmond. He said it cost about $12,000 to fix that car. This is the first time they've had it back out, I do believe. They borrowed a car, I think, to be able to go race.
Thomas Racing was able to lend the car that Caden Honeycutt went to Victory Lane with at Orange County, the Orange Crush 200. Was able to lend that over for Deke to run. And by the way, Deke didn't make any laps in this car before qualifying because he had his daughter's graduation to attend earlier today. So did not get any practice laps.
Yes. Your daughters are the most important. Your family's the most important. But, yeah, they're getting ready to go racing here. And Deke is now starting deep in the field. So we'll see if he can pass some people. I'm telling you, Deke is a guy that has the calmest head out here. And he's not going to be a guy that gets in there and roots and gouges if his car's not good. But, man, Dylan Bassett, he was super sideways in the 04 car. The 22 car, the 29 is actually coming back out now. So the 22 car, so we had a lot of great racing, and our camera guys got it. Our camera guys got it all, which was awesome.
They're doing a great job. As you could see the results of the choose this time. Queen will go back to the outside. So will McCarty. McCumbee elects to go to the inside, so he'll give up that spot to Brendan Queen. Early trouble for two of your top championship points leaders. Connor Hall, he elected to stay out with his damage. Brent Cruz just came off of the pit lane. into the Death Wish Coffee restart zone. They work. Millington gets back into fourth gear and will lead the field into turn one. 94 laps to go. And again, you mentioned threat of weather in the area. How hard do they push it?
They push it hard, but you see the choose cone was different this time again. In the Pro Late models, I'm telling you, that made a difference. And look, Chad McCumbee is going to lose the second spot because of where he chose that. Butterbean done a great job of still pinching him down. They are still racing. Butterbean's car is not quite as good as Chad's, but man, this is a great race.
McCumbee not giving up, coming off of 4, has the position, trying to outrun Brendan Queen right now as they go back into 1, still underneath, side-by-side racing. A slight advantage for the 03, but not enough to get past Chad McCumbee as they head down into 2. Carson Quapple still pursuing this field right here.
I was about to say, look who is right behind him, has made up a couple of spots and worked that choose to perfection for that number 18. Carson Quapple looking to go back to back to back at Ace Speedway in the car store, and in a great position to do it as he's almost to the inside of Butterbean.
And Butterbean shut the door on him, which is actually cool. So I'm telling you, that is not a shocker that Quapple did that and is up front already. I'm telling you, their cars are always great. And he's starting to put the nose to him, and I just don't – the car is smoking when he goes back to the gas. I don't see how it's going to live unless that is a planned situation for that 18.
Something that you often see out of that 18. I feel like most races we kind of see that, oh, is there a problem? No, it's just smoke that is coming off that 8 car that we see almost every single time that it's been out here, that I've been out here calling these races. But again, Quapple came up from a 21st spot to finish 3rd at Orange County, a place notoriously hard to pass. Not shocked to see he has done it in another place that can be difficult to pass. This is further back in the field. McCarty starting to slide back. That's Ronnie Bassett Jr. on the inside, fending off. How about Mason Diaz? All 4 tires on the flat in turns 3 and 4.
I've been calling him Dylan, so I'm sorry, Ronnie, but that's you in that car. That's your brother. I'm so sorry. But, yes, man, I'm telling you, Bobby McCarty now is mired back in the field. Probably will start pulling that seatbelts tight and starting being aggressive. It's going to be fun to watch. But, man, they're still 2x2 way back in the field. That number 11 car reminds me of Ray Hendrick years ago, so that was pretty awesome. But these guys are racing really hard. I think they can smell the rain coming.
That's one way to put it. By the way, worth noting, Andrew Brady with the engine trouble, he is back out on the racetrack, albeit is 9 laps down that number 1 is scored. But up front, we saw this in the Pro Late model race earlier tonight. Ryan Millington, and, you know, I'll kind of ask you, Chris, you saw or had the observation that Millington or that Caden Quapple in the Pro Late race was kind of backing off, saving his stuff. Do you get kind of the same inkling here with Ryan Millington?
Well, these tires are so good that you can run them pretty hard. So I feel like he's just running them pretty hard, but he was running away and hiding because I'm telling you, these guys know what's going on with the weather. They know that it's going to be an issue here soon, and he didn't want to save anything. And now Chad McCumbee is starting to run him down. Did he burn his tires up too quick? We're getting ready to see. I do not believe that Ryan was saving anything. I think he was going after it. He's seen those guys fighting for second place. He's seen Butterbean putting the pressure on Chad McCumbee, and now Butterbean's in front of Quapple because he knows Quapple has won here a lot. He's like, let me get away and see if I can hide.
The one thing, I talked to Ryan Millington earlier today, and he is one of the best when it comes to Ace Speedway. And I asked him, so there's a lot of drivers who come to you, they're asking for advice about how to get around this place. What's the first thing that you maybe tell somebody about how to get around this racetrack? And he said, look to the bottom in 3 and 4, the paint that is right there on that apron, there is a ton of grip right there. So with all these different lines that people run in 3 and 4, one of the best in the business says, don't worry about it. Get your left side tires on that paint. You can see Queen pretty much running right in line with that. Quapple going a little bit lower, but he's also trying to make a pass on a car that he may be a little bit quicker than.
The best battle on the racetrack right here, and the pass needs to be made. It seems like coming off 3 and 4. Quapple just a little bit further inside when they come off turn 4. You can see the direction just a little bit further down on the racetrack. Can't quite make the pass. Does seem like he's the faster car right now. How do you get past Queen, especially if there are pressing issues? You want to get this track position as fast as possible, but you can see a little brake glow on the left front. I can see it out the booth here. So close trying to get past Queen. Just can't do it quite yet.
You know, Butterbean was so good at the end of the year last year, and I get this question a lot. Every week I feel like, what happened to your speed? What happened to your speed? I bet if I talk to Lee Pulliam, he has no idea. They're not doing anything any different. Everybody else has just caught up with them, and they're searching each and every week. They're testing, they're practicing, and Butterbean is just not that great here tonight.
Last week, the last race we had at Orange County, I mean, he finished 13th after starting 11th. Wrote on Facebook, they were just embarrassed. Like, that was an embarrassing performance, he wrote. But he also said, this is our week. So he's trying to call his shot here, running up front, keeping Carson Kvapil behind him, while also trying to pursue the lead. And
it's exciting when I start talking about it, he starts running faster. Right here in front straightaway, Connor Hall turned around backwards.
In a precarious spot there, just past the start-finish line. And just in the way of our vantage point, as you can see Brandon Willard waving the shitty cooler's caution with 76 laps to go. And your championship points leader having more issues here. We talked about some of the damage that he had earlier on. It doesn't look like he picked up that much in a spin, but this is going to definitely put him at the tail end of the field, hurt his track position. And, we've kind of heard it from a lot of these guys when they're chasing this championship. Do you have a mulligan when it comes to the ZMAX Cards Tour in this season-long championship battle? As you can see, kind of the glow off of the lights here.
Out.
Yeah, it gets a little bit of contact, and we'll see who it is with. I think it's Brandon Pierce. No, it was Landon Huffman in the number 37. Now, I know these two don't necessarily get along all that well either.
Wait a minute. Didn't Landon Huffman used to drive that car last year?
He did.
Oh, boy. I think that was a, get out of my way, I'm faster than you type situation, And when you talk about being a points leader, that's almost like, oh, my goodness, I don't want to be a points leader this early. I would wait to the end. But, no, you don't have a mulligan, not with as good of great a race cars as you have here. I mean, look at Bobby McCarty. He was up there running 5th, and now he's back. I don't even know where he's at. He's way back here. You don't have any mulligans. No mulligans. And, what's so cool about this 22 car, they have a lot of great sponsors on it, but it's one that's getting ready to sponsor us at Darlington, Black's Tire and Wheel. Ricky Benton and that group, they always are supporting the local racers. Wanted to give them a big-time shout-out because they're always supporting the local racers.
Long-time sponsor, especially in all forms of racing. But interesting weekend for Connor Hall, just coming in as a driver, as the point leader. So a driver who's had 4 top 10s in the 4 races. But you look at the speed, the final practice, P21. You look where he started in 15th. Now no speed here at Ace Speedway this weekend, and now he's involved in this. Just not the performance we've seen throughout the weekend.
It's a tough deal there for Connor Hall, but he will try to recover, and he has 76 laps left to do it. But so far, it has been all Ryan Millington of the ZMAX Cars Tour at Ace Speedway.